righty. Welcome to the Minnesota Vikings practice facility, Twin Cities Orthopedics Performance Center. Listen to this smooth vibe to bring us into 9 to noon. Devin Ward produces 9 to noon from the Great Ship Love Covenant at FM 100.3 KFAN. Fire up the music a little bit, Devin, so they can catch the soft and warm, the quiet storm. KFAN. It's soft and warm. It's the quiet storm. That's analogous to Minnesota Vikings training camp, by the way, where things are soft and warm, and it is the quiet storm. It's 9 to noon on KFAN, and we are at the Vikings Entertainment Network. Fade the music and fire up 9 to noon now. Thank you, Devin. Eric Nordquist is here with yours truly, Paul Allen. Vikings Entertainment Network radio studio. This is our every Tuesday home during the regular season. Yeah, it's the place where we're privileged enough to talk to head coach Kevin O'Connell every single Tuesday after games and into games. And today, 9 to noon, General Manager Nolan Teasley will be joining the presentation. That takes place about 10:45. Nolan Teasley, General Manager for the Minnesota Vikings, 1045. The Scribe is here at 9:45, and that's fantastic. Not only because Ben Goessling is a fantastic human, friend, husband, father, and scribe, but because yesterday at the first padded practice, the first day of practice for the Minnesota Vikings with the pads on, yours truly took it in from the exclusive Vikings Radio Network perch overlooking all the perfectly manicured fields during Bumper to Bumper with Chuck Foreman and an elongated interview that is podcastable at KFAN.com. But when the rubber started to meet the road, lots of chatting with the old announcer on the on the exclusive Vikings Radio Network perch, not by Bump or not by Guardsy, but just by ancillary people coming up and saying hi and things like that. So it's great to have the Scribe here today because I missed a little more of practice yesterday despite being there with the binoculars than I really wanted to miss, specifically the team portion. But Ben Goessling, he misses nothing. He watched it more closely than me yesterday, and with that dog and pony show, I left it with a few opinions from the first day of padded practice. I mean, you can hit me with numbers now if you want, like 17, Jordan Mims, and so on and so on and so on.
The names and body types are coming together.
And they're coming together. Juwan Jennings has, he's a big one. Multicolored hair, but they wear helmets. Bredesen, 45, streaking behind the offensive line like used checked in training. So there was a lot unveiled yesterday. But I guess what I'm getting at in a roundabout way here, and Ben will be here about 35 minutes from now. He's the learned scribe. Is there are just multiple people that I respect, the Goesslings and the Alec Lewises and Dane Mizutanis and Kevin Seiferts and things like that, where when I got home or later in the evening after Canterbury Chapel, when I started to do some Covenant catch-up, I just caught a vibe that, like, practice didn't end great from a quarterbacking standpoint.
Yeah.
Quite honestly, because this is the honesty covenant, this is the love covenant, man. We ain't going to sit here and lie into this microphone. I didn't see exactly what everybody's talking about. So we just want to get Ben Goessling's opinion at 9:45 up to the GM an hour later on like what transpired at the end of practice with the quarterbacks and everything. Now, the physicality, as expected and as shared yesterday, 9 to noon, the physicality ramped up for practice yesterday, and those who shined at times include, but are not limited to, the likes of Caleb Banks, Ty Ingram Dawkins, and wide receiver Ty Felton. I'm really excited to see what's in store for the rookie tight end Max Bredesen and the wide receiver Juwan Jennings when it gets real. And when I say when it gets real, this is going to come up with the general manager. And having fans in the stands is fantastic. And you're able to tweet during practices and things like that. But having fans in the stands is terrific, but a lot of them will take video of plays and then they'll put it on social media.
I saw some of that, yeah.
Right, and it's happy-go-lucky, and it's fun, and nobody has any malicious intent or ill intent, but this will come up with the general manager today. Do general managers and or personnel types scour social media of teams who are on their schedule? And what I mean is when they're at training camp, so then, like, I searched Bears on X with their first day of padded practice. Now, a lot of Kobe Bryant, injury-related news.
Yep.
Their defensive back that they signed from Seattle, and they gave him a lot of money. He's going to be out minimum 2 months with that knee injury that took place during 9 to noon yesterday. So that a lot of Bears stuff there, but you got some clips. And then, like, I saw something with the Texans and I saw something with the Dolphins. And here's what I'm getting at. I just wonder how much general managers or personnel people scour social media with teams on the schedule to see if there's anything they can pull from Rube Nation filming plays and finding scheme.
Yeah.
It might be the stupidest question I've ever asked.
I don't think it is.
But when you hear so many times that people with organizations they turn over every rock, they get into every set of weeds to try to find an advantage. I mean, I bet you it happens. I bet you there are people on staff who are like, all right, Packers, Bears, Buccaneers, Dolphins. Those are the first 4 games of the season. Your job for 90 minutes every day of your life that these teams practice during training camp is to watch the play. And if there's a way to squeeze in on it, you can figure out who the personnel is, what the motion looks like, where's the play action, how's the guy turning his back on the defense, what are they doing out of the slot? What are they doing with motions? So this low-key fascinates me a little bit because only a fool would show the prime plays during training camp.
Yeah.
However, to run a play, you just don't get the 11 to the line of scrimmage and then the 11 trying to defend them and say, all right, just run straight or just block straight or, hey, Caleb, no swim moves. Hey, Jalen Redmond, no spin moves. Hey, Gink, don't fake here, drift out to the right because you're going to jump a route. I mean, they have to perfect those things too. You see what I'm saying here with trying to get every single advantage you can find? I just wonder what Nolan thinks about that, and good morning.
Good morning. It's at some point in time, I don't know how many years ago it would be, but there was a coach undoubtedly that uncovered some video of a formation or a tell or
here's what I think you're talking about. Tell me if I'm wrong. O'Connell's first year, and they're doing a night practice, and
big screen.
And the big screen is so vivid, high definition, zoom in, just the whole thing. And I think, like Sean McVay, coach of the Rams, who's always there to help Kevin unless they're playing each other. I mean, those guys are super, super close. I think, like McVay might have said to O'Connell, seeing something on social media, hey, that shows scheme, right? Even though it doesn't show scheme,
right?
But they know what they're looking for, and we don't.
Right.
So it's things, I think probably from a Vikings Entertainment Network standpoint got a little different after that.
Of course they did.
But maybe that's what you're referencing.
Well, so but my point was getting to that. Is at some point somebody found an edge online. It happened by mistake, if you want to go that direction. And then there was that moment because I was trying to remember, and this by the way, we're talking about Kevin O'Connell here. This is the case with 31 other head coaches and 31 other teams.
100%.
Where, wow, all this digital access. We want to give fans the opportunity to see this product on the field.
Yeah.
But we have to change the way that we disseminate the content.
Yeah.
And it's evolved now to the point where I remember Chris Thomason used to cover the Vikings. Now he's under a table at Capitol Grill in Denver trying to get the sneaky on Sean Payton.
Uh-huh.
But
I think it's Hapa Sushi.
He posted a photo where at the Broncos camp they have signs up that say protect our plays.
Oh, wow.
And no video or photo.
Wow.
I don't know if that is
our screen says quiet offense at work.
So
UGLY, you ain't got no alibi.
So, and again, this is not just Kevin O'Connell. This is 32 teams in the NFL.
Yeah.
Where these coaches work hard, they get their jobs, they're looking for any possible edge. And I look at it, these guys want to control every possible element of putting this thing together and eventually executing it on the field when the games matter.
Yeah.
I would bet a lot of money that there is somebody here who does maybe 8 other things as part of their job.
Maybe.
But one of them is snooping around #Bears, #Pack.
Yeah.
We do have the Saints and Dolphins on the schedule. I want to see what they're trying to do with Malik down there and figure out how we can approach what Jeff Hafley's going to try and present us in the season. I would bet so much that absolutely happens. And I don't know if it's paranoia or what it is, but, for instance, the team will go through maybe private walkthroughs that aren't open to the public or have practices that aren't open to the public.
Do. Well, but see, no, that's a great point. And the time up after training camp, fans leave, the fans part of the equation. Well, then they start having training camp practices where I think a certain amount of them up to the season do not include the media.
Yeah.
So that's like normal time. Fans leave the stands and everything, and all the videotaping's done. Pretty sure media, like no tweeting, no video during that time.
That kind of thing, yeah.
So that's where the prime cuts probably are worked on. But what you said, there's a fine line with that too. Because like today at noon, there will be a walkthrough. Okay, they're going to walk through the plays and the expectations and the rotations and what they're going to do for the 2:30 padded practice today. Well, that's a non-media situation, a non-fan related situation. So that's where the prime cut of scheme will be unfurled.
Indeed.
Okay, well, Saturday, and I ain't trying to run my favorite radio station out of the facility on Saturday, but I mean, I don't. Maybe they know Kevin O'Connell does not envision Sauce recognizing a counter
or
tray,
me for that matter, sure.
A counter tray they haven't run in 4 years with pulling offensive linemen and Bredesen crushing a linebacker on the second level and Jennings crushing a safety on the third level, and it all sets it up for Claiborne to go 70.
Yeah,
but. It is when, and I heard you say this Saturday, and I like when you say this. You in essence are like, hey. It was a privilege to be here. Thanks to the Minnesota Vikings for permitting us to be here. And on behalf of Sauce and so, I'm Eric Nordquist. Saturdays with Sauce is in the air. But nevertheless, that could be a stone unturned, or overturned. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, and O'Connell just put the binocs on. He looked out at the perch. He's like, oh, there's Stacey Dales with NFL Network.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Nordo and Sauce. Oh, no worries, guys. We're good. We can unfurl all the circus plays that we're going to do.
The level of trust that has to be had between teams, their top media relations constituents, and certain facets of the media just trying to do their jobs.
Yeah.
It just has to be there until something goes amiss.
Right.
And then it's like, well, you don't have guidelines, you have rules, so you can't do this radio show here ever again because you did this.
There's no warnings. It's just over.
Right.
And that's why it's an unbelievable privilege to do that. But think about this. So 2026, and it's innocent, right?
Yeah.
And that's where on the other side of it, I'm a Rube. Our listener base, we are Rubes. We are fans. We want this team to win every game. Guys that don't have the access we have, how fun that is to get tickets for a single Saturday
Big
or
time.
a single Tuesday later today.
Fans love it.
And they get to bring their family and their uncle that they see 4 times a year, and they get to see the highlight catch made by, was that Miles Price backside of the end zone yesterday?
Ty Felton,
excuse me.
Yeah, that was a nice one.
They get to see things like that. And
Zamaya Vaughn.
And they love it. And they can't wait. And they got, tickets in section 320, and they're going to be there for every home game. It truly is no different, though. If you are, wasn't it Bill Belichick filming people's practices?
Yeah.
Would you generally consider that to be dirty pool a little bit?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we would just put it on Belichick regardless of it. I think that was him, though.
No, that was Harbaugh, I think.
Oh,
Belichick might have been filming the sideline bit and reading lips.
There you go. Okay.
Like something like that for what, the next time we play. I don't know what it was.
But effectively, in 2026, given our access, given our phones, what is materially different other than the action? So Belichick as a coach doing it, that is different than finding it via a fan.
Yeah.
But effectively, you as a fan, just photographing something in a spot you're not supposed to be in, that potentially can yield the same result, which is an edge for another team.
What a tricky situation, because if you're Billy, Johnny, Christy, Susie, Tamika, or Antoine with an X or an Instagram account, and you're at a Vikings practice, and tweeting pictures and or video are permitted.
Right.
Well, you want to put it out there because you either want people to see it. You want to, maybe it helps you get more followers, get a little splashy or something like that. So therefore it's not breaking the rules, but I like what you said about the Denver Broncos. What was that sign? What did it say again?
Yeah. Protect our plays.
Right. Okay. Well, the fact that George Payton, their general manager, and Sean Payton, their head coach, they are forward-thinking enough to put that sign for people to see. Well, I'm glad you said that because I had no idea that was taking place. That inadvertently kind of that kind of daggers or that kind of validates what I said 10 minutes ago about I want to talk to Teasley about this. Do you guys have people scouring social media, looking at other people's plays for whatever you can find?
And by the way, doesn't that, with the protect our plays, no photos or video, it 100% is Peyton telling on himself that he has found intel on social media at some point and benefited from it.
You're really opening my eyes right now. I mean, it's you can do something as long as some of us have done it, but you old dogs always are learning new tricks. And here's what I mean, is when I drove up to Twin Cities Orthopedics Performance Center this morning, I'm like, why are there 6 protesters outside of the facility with indicators that you don't have a right to protect plays? All plays should be shown. Every single play should be shown, and we are staunchly against you.
Make them public.
Yeah, make them public.
I want to see the playbook.
Yeah.
I demand it.
All plays have a right to be public.
Simultaneously, it's
I'm going to put that on a T-shirt.
It's entertainment. We're watching adults play a kid's game, and we love it, and we invest in it. And all of those things. So that's the one side of it. Mm-hmm. The other side of it is winning this is a multi-billion-dollar business.
Big time.
And so trying to accept or appreciate those two things simultaneously. Mm-hmm. As a fan, it's like, I want to document all of this. I don't get to be here that often, but then there's the other side of it where any possible crumb, any morsel could be made into a mountainous feast where some tell, because when Bredesen's in the backfield and it's a kind of an offset eye that this happens 40% of the time, another team's coaching staff who knows exactly what to look for is going to be like, boom. And every defensive meeting leading up to that, they're going to include things like that as part of the conversation.
Take it a step farther, because there are teams who absolutely look at other teams' social media feeds and the reporters covering the team, and it could be like this. Okay, so we read your new corner, James Pierre, left the first practice. We read he came back yesterday, maybe didn't take part in team, but he took part in one-on-ones.
Right.
All right, so now here's your job, Billy. You need to scour social media and find every play that involved number 23. We just want to make sure he's running okay. We got him in a month and a half. We just want to make sure he's turning his hips, he's running okay, and everything's all squared away. Okay, coach, he looked fine. Check. Move on. Know what I mean?
Yeah. And
every little thing, man.
Every little thing. And I think about it. And so Vikings Entertainment Network, they have to be quite scrutinizing of their own content that they would put out, right? I mean,
big time.
If it's into the border battle and James Pierre's been questionable with a toe all week, and then some promotional bit they're doing in the field house, you see James Pierre doing back handsprings. You can't.
Who are you, Cam Scattaboo?
You can't have that happening.
Right.
So, but yeah, so all the content that is available to us is amazing. But teams certainly, and we'll get to hear from Teasley how that has changed the way that they operate this time of year. It'll be fascinating.
As we mentioned yesterday, 9 to noon, in closing this opening segment, which is a Steve's Marathon segment.
Yeah, you better do it.
Steve's Appliances, stevesappliances.com. Thought we were going to hit a 12. It's a 22 right now, so let's marathon it. Steve's Appliances, stevesappliances.com, providing us with the marathons. Support those loving people. Standalone store. They are so awesome. Free delivery, guaranteed low prices, free recycling, which a lot of people don't do. They make you, they generally will sell you something. They'll probably give you a really good price on it, but you got to deal with the removal of like the bunk dryer or washing machine or whatever. No, they handle the free recycling. That is cool. Steve'sAppliances.com. Lastly here, we mentioned yesterday, 9 to noon, that Jadeveon Clowney signed with the Houston Texans. So there have been, if you are in the camp believing the Minnesota Vikings either could or need or may be interested in a veteran pass rusher. Generally speaking, when one proverbial chip falls, when one metaphorical domino falls, they start to fall. So one of the questions I'm going to get into with Nolan Teasley is Jadeveon Clowney signed with Houston. Is this the time that street players, specifically those with prominent names who still have a little juice, they're on the street for whatever the reason, but is this the time they generally start signing? And I'm not going to bring up the name because it's fruitless. It just wouldn't provide anything. But I've put more time into Hassan Reddick, the pass rusher. Hassan Reddick came into the game with Arizona. He's played with multiple teams. He's definitely nearing the end of his career. I think he was with the Bucs last year. The sacks fell off. Sacks fell off a little bit the year before that, but like 3-4 years ago, my man had 16 and a half sacks in a season. I think he went to 2 Super Bowls, at least one with the Philadelphia Eagles. So you're running around with those cats, and they're going to get attention, which means you could get some singles. Now, with Van Ginkel and Dallas Turner, if you believe a veteran is needed to fortify what could be a top 4, which could include Chaz Chambliss, Bo Richter, maybe Jake Golday, maybe there's a wild card we're not seeing right now. Okay, that'd be great. But if you feel like you need a veteran presence to be with a third-year pass rusher who took off at the end of the season last year, but now the job's completely his. And that's just a different situation. Do I believe Dallas can handle it? Absolutely. Do we know Andrew Van Ginkel can handle everything when he's healthy? Absolutely. But if you believe an extra one is needed, one went to Houston yesterday. So we can look at all the names, the Kyle Van Noys, Hassan Reddicks, and Von Millers and things like that.
Joey Bosa's out there still, I think.
Joey Bosa's another one. Of all those names, the one that interests me most is Hassan Reddick.
Okay.
And I'm just curious to see if anybody here is interested in him, or if they even feel they need something like that.
Yeah, the thing, and maybe Reddick's a good name, and maybe in the end any of them could be a good name. But
Bursich mentioned something to me. We watched the walkthrough together Saturday when you were doing Saturdays with Sauce.
Yep.
Started talking about it then. He was on 9 to noon yesterday, brought it up again, and he had put some time into some all-22 of Reddick, and there are some things from the last 2 years that he liked. So, like, if Bursich and Lieber put time into something and they say they like it,
yeah,
well, then now I'm going to watch it, and I'm probably not going to see exactly what they see, but I'm going to like it because they're elite football minds. So if Bursich starts to sign off a little bit on Reddick, I got no idea if the team's interested in him. I'm just saying if they are interested in one of those popular names,
yep,
Reddick's the one that I would like.
And whoever they sign, I think the tricky part, and I've said this before, I think it has to be somebody that's okay with splitting reps and understanding that Dallas Turner, that this year 3 experiment here is now where he gets to unfurl. And it's about Dallas getting the lion's share of those reps. And I personally, I have to. I think that's a little extreme, but I think most would kind of look at this and just say beyond what we know in health implications and such that we cannot plan for. I do believe that adding depth there would be nice, but it's got to be the right guy that understands that that's going to be collaborative there, that the opportunity, the A piece is going to Dallas Turner, and maybe Hassan's that guy.
Yeah, I'm with it. So from yesterday, with the part that I did get to see when Dog and Pony Show terrorism was not in play, I left.
You thrive in the Dog and Pony Show, by the way.
Yeah, it's just the weather's great. Yeah, the weekend was even better. Can't wait for next weekend. Snow plows right around the corner.
State Fair coming up.
No, I haven't been to the amphitheater next to Canterbury Park. Yeah, the Goo Goo Dolls are great. Yeah, I love the song Iris. Oh, wow, what did Caleb Banks just do? Shoot, I missed it. But the parts I did see, Caleb Banks, we're going to get more into this maybe later, certainly tomorrow or during the week, because when it comes to the discernment in my heart with these football players, whatever gift of discernment or lack thereof God has given me, it hasn't happened often, but it's starting to happen with Caleb Banks. It happened in 2009 with Percy Harvin. It happened in 2015 for Diggs.
15 was Diggs.
Yeah, it started to happen in 15 with Diggs around this time. And it's happening with Caleb Banks.
Ooh.
And to get him in pads and see what I saw yesterday, we just got to restrain the beast in me a little bit, because I'm about ready to make some major, major proclamations about this beast.
Oh, here we go.
I'm just going to stop right there.
Is he a thing?
We're going to stop right there.
Could he be a thing?
We're going to watch it again today. We're going to watch it again tomorrow. And just see how this thing develops, because it's a weird conversation. Because on the other side, for him to go Akeem Hicks on what I saw yesterday, well, that means one of our starting offensive linemen are taking L's. So it's a pick your poison situation. It's the proverbial double-edged sword. This guy might be Defensive Rookie of the Year. What happened right there?
What's going on with Will Fries here?
What happened right there? Wait, that was okay. Maybe it was maybe it was the second offensive line. I don't know.
Well, defense always starts camp faster, PA.
That's what I hear.
That's what I hear.
That's Nordo. I'm Paul Allen. Devin Ward guides the Great Ship Love Covenant at FM 100.3 KFAN. Kevin O'Connell joined Dan Barrero yesterday for an elongated interview, and it was fantastic. Highly advise you to podcast it in totality. But 9 to noon with Bikes Bites and maybe a segment later, we have pulled some KO cuts that we think you'll like. And the first set takes place around the corner. After that, the Scribe. Ben Goessling, Star Tribune, StarTribune.com, about 9:45. And once again, Vikings General Manager Nolan Teasley joins us from the practice facility in Eagan. That's where we are. Vikings Entertainment Network, second to none, best in the country with these accommodations. That takes place at 10:45, all part of TimberTech and TimberTech.com set list. Meanwhile, we have mucho dinero to give away, and here's the con!
Yes, indeed. The Fan and BigDeck.com want to give you a shot at some bonus bucks with the National Cash Contest. This hour's keyword is check. The keyword is check. You might win if you enter the keyword check at our website, which is KFAN.com.
Have you heard? Quantum Fiber from AT&T is...
I think one of these weak tracks were required to play. I think they ripped off Another One Bites the Dust. Boom, boom, boom. Another One Bites the Dust.
Doesn't it have a little Eminence front to it?
Eminence front. It's a put on. Another One Bites the Dust.
Might be wrong on that.
Hey. Another One Bites the Dust. Another interview with Kevin O'Connell bit the dust, and it was fantastic. It was with Bumper to Bumper yesterday on the exclusive Vikings Radio Network perch. It was an elongated interview, and I can say that because I'm used to having long interviews with Kevin O'Connell. And boy, Kevin was just full of fun yesterday with the word salad jokes and sharing just about a bunch of things. Man, it was a very, very entertaining interview. I highly advise you to go to KFAN.com, Bumper to Bumper on demand, listen back to the whole thing. And we have some cuts, some KO cuts for you, which make up Vikes Bites, provided by...
Yeah, thanks to my buddies at Kinmount Exteriors. KinmountExteriors.com. Beautiful showroom in Lakeville. It's Paul, Craig, and Clay. They can't wait to work with you and fall in love with your house again via windows, siding, roofing, and decks. You can check them out at KinmountExteriors.com. And we're going to start here. It was many questions to get through, many elongated answers, as you say. But I kind of love this. Barrero posited kind of the idea, and I can't remember who wrote it. There was a bit of that yesterday where Barrero's like, hey, I heard about this thing. What do you think? And you'd hear a lot from KO. This was particular, the idea that, yeah, we want to run, we want to get out there, use our legs, but does Kyler maybe want to live in the pocket, not just as a QB, but maybe to mitigate injury possibilities getting out of it? Let's listen.
You know what, I would say this is when I really studied him, you could see great examples of him playing in rhythm and going through progressions, and if the pocket allowed him to, you would see him stand in there and make some throws. I mean, he did it today a couple times with, the first day of pads is always that different feeling for these quarterbacks than it's been the first 3 or 4 days when, guys might, maybe not press into some of those bull rushes up the middle of the pocket, or those edges might be not as sharp coming off the edge. And I always like watching the quarterbacks because how they feel it that first time is normally what they would do when you ramp it up even a little bit more in a real game. But he sat in there, and here's what I know about Kyler. He's smart. He has been in some systems where maybe, as the competitor that he is, this guy competes now, and he does not like losing. He's been a guy basically the better part of his whole life. He's been very, very talented, always well thought of, nationally as a kid, even in baseball and all the things that he's ever done. What I would say is he is excited to be a part, and he really sought out being a part of our system and playing with the players he gets to play with. And I think he's excited about the idea of being able to maybe take the cape off, take the Superman cape off, and just pitch and catch and throw completions and move the team.
That's awesome.
He had some good examples of that at the Saturday practice the other day. It was, I think he was pretty darn close to, if you're grading it out, he was pretty darn close to what you're looking for.
So what do you think about that, PA, in terms of, the potential of Kyler Murray, something we've talked about a bit with this offense and his skill sets, but the legs being part of that conversation. But then you kind of hear from the head coach the idea that, and I would say he halfway co-signed it a little bit in terms of when the protection is there, this kid wants to be in the pocket. He wants to be a QB that can stand there, 5-step drop, and sling the rock, right?
Well, when we say... And O'Connell is so phenomenal with interviews. I mean, it's probably on a weekly basis during the course of a season, the best 9 to noon has ever had. We just really enjoy them when we have them here Tuesdays.
They're fun.
But when we say that he is going to lay out some croutons for you, and he's just going to give you the croutons, it's up to you to make the rest of the chef's salad. But he's gonna lead the way for you, but you got to put some work in. He did it again right there, and he'll say something, but then he stops himself, and he did it there, and it's important. This is important when Kevin O'Connell says with Kyler, maybe he's been in some systems that maybe. And he stopped. And then he went and talked about something else. Okay?
He wanted to rip Kingsbury.
So, if you're Cliff Kingsbury, okay, well, I mean, if you pull O'Connell to the side at the combine, and you're like, bro, what do you mean by that? Well, why are you so insecure, Cliff? Maybe I was talking about Drew. You know what I mean? So he
and then if he sees Drew,
he does. Yeah. Well,
maybe I was talking about Cliff.
Well, really, the first guy didn't let him go under center for 2 years. You kidding me? So that's exactly what I mean when I say there are the croutons, make the salad. Maybe Kyler has been in some systems that maybe, and then he went on to something else. Okay, the system that they run here is with respect, and you can look back at what Arizona has done or not done, who's been fired, who's been in, who's been out, what the skill situations look like, skeletal remains of DeAndre Hopkins, just the whole thing. Trey McBride taken off, but he can't score touchdowns. Why? Stuff like that. There's been some rodeo to that situation down there Arizona way. There's not rodeo here. It's the and I've said it before, the word culture in life, business, and sports is way overused and way trite, but it's not here. And you can believe me or not, man, but there just was a dramatic shift in culture, 21-22. And it stayed. And it resonates with people like Kyler. So just remember that. Maybe he's been in some systems that maybe, then he stopped. And then he said, he intimated, you don't have to wear the Superman cape here.
Yeah, maybe just take the cape off.
Yeah, we have ways here with the coaches and the players to take pressure off you. So don't feel that, okay? You ain't running play action to DeMercado trying to find 7th round pick du jour on a double move. That ain't us. We ain't them. So I think that he was intimating. I think he was intimating all of that during that. Maybe he's been in some systems that maybe you don't have to be Superman here, bro. Well, off the mic, what do you mean? We ain't running play action to DeMercado trying to throw to a 6th round pick in the biggest spot of the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So those were the croutons, man, and that's what I loved about that interview yesterday. So many croutons.
If Jordan Struck is listening, Vikes Bites! Brought to you by Kinmount Exteriors. This was kind of a lighter moment throughout the conversation. Barrero trying to get into maybe a TV opinion by Dan Orlovsky, and then some conversation about Adam Thielen. It's about 2 minutes, but I had a blast listening to this.
Dan Orlovsky, you familiar with him?
Love Dan, yeah.
He said the other day, it was with your guy Adam Thielen. They were breaking down your offense the other day.
Stop teaching the whole world some of our plays.
He made it sound like your offense is literally the most complicated in the history of football.
No, he didn't. He said Justin was reading around.
Oh, but he made it sound like at the line of scrimmage there's like 50 variations instead of 5. Is that an exaggeration?
Close to that.
Oh,
Adam,
so awesome.
Adam, I'll tell you what. When Adam was in our offense, he certainly had some ideas of his own, and I would literally say, Adam, how the heck am I supposed to coach that?
19 caught a strike.
No, I did.
Somebody told me about it, and then I texted him, and he sent me the.
Here's the Money Orlovsky quote. Basically, he said, whoever starts a quarterback for you has to understand that the head coach is the star of this offense.
Oh, wow.
A, is that true? And B, is that necessarily a good thing? Now, you dropped your head, so I'm going to guess you're not going to love that either.
What we try to do, Dan, is we try to be problem solvers before Sunday. And we try to be problem solvers with the offense that we have, where we always want to have answers for the quarterback. Yep. And when you have a guy like Justin Jefferson, we can watch 8 games of breakdowns leading into a game, and that first drive, we're still going to see a team play defensively different against him than they have maybe against many other premier receivers in the league, because it has been shown when you allow him to have the type of day he's capable of, we normally do pretty well, and we're normally a hard team, especially with our defense. Can we get that lead? If Justin's catching explosives, we're going to score points, and then you got to play against Flo in that defense when we have a lead, and that is not fun for anybody. It's part of the reason why, in addition to running the football more last year, now we want to continue to evolve and grow that aspect of our team of running the football, because if people are going to be so stubborn of how they defend our skilled players, and Justin and Jordan being the driving factor behind that, we have to be able to run the football and take yards from people.
I love hearing you say that. And that's music to my ears.
And
now he obviously turned the page. The coach did, to running the ball and more offense at large.
But it started off with, whoa. Let's pump the brakes here on the AT-19 Vince Lombardi approach to running offense.
But I think
that was great.
I think, and I don't even look at the way Thielen was talking about it per se. I didn't pull from it that it is the most, like nuclear physicists in a lab trying to split an atom. I don't see that as the offense, but there is nationally the idea that, you want the quarterback. Is Justin Jefferson the identity of our team? And I think the implication behind what Orlovsky was trying to say is the idea, well, whoever wins this job, if it's Kyler, if it's J.J. McCarthy, that the coach you're all kind of molding your way into melding with Kevin O'Connell.
Okay, well, I think I know Dan Orlovsky well enough that, like, if he heard that I said this, I'd be cool with it. And it's fact. This is reality. Orlovsky is always on KO's jock, okay? Always. When he does film breakdowns, stuff like that, he's always really, really praising the scheme. And hey, you did this from this look week 2 against Chicago. Look at this, okay? Look at where they're going.
And specifically last year, even as he was kind of critiquing McCarthy and how he was executing the offense.
But Orlovsky will watch O'Connell plays from like week 2, and then he will show that, and then after a week 7 game, he will say, same formation, same players, same motion. Oh, geez, look at this. So the opposition has seen that. They think it's coming, but it's different. So Orlovsky loves the schematic nature of the head coach of the Vikings. That's what I think he was getting at there with, like, you know, at the end of the equation, you're the identity of the offense. Well, that may or may not be true, but let's go up and down everybody on the offense and tell me how many people have won most valuable player. And then tell me how many people have won coach of the year. So the accolades are earned. The respect is earned. O'Connell does not want to be known as the identity of this offense, as you can tell with the way Barrero framed that question. But the crouton, here's the crouton, is he said you can watch 8 games of Team du jour and how they play defense. And to a man, when we line up the first play against them, it ain't going to be like that against Justin. So then he segued into the running game. So now you got the lettuce and you got the cheese and maybe little chicken chunks in that chef salad. He's saying these teams play this way, but then they see Justin and we got doubles and triples. So running a certain way, he didn't say it, but I think it was intimated. The belief is you run a certain way and you put this on film, it's going to pull people off Justin. So what would the next layer be? I would speculate the next layer would be, oh, by the way, if the quarterback runs on 2nd and 6 and gets 15 and you didn't see it coming, what's that going to do to Jefferson coverage? You're really going to keep all those corners and safeties around him outside the numbers far right, and Kyler gets 20 far left? So I see what he's doing here. Obviously, it has to work. Obviously, you know, teams get eventually, you're going to get enough plays, so you're going to start figuring things out. And then that plays into the we know that you know that we know that you know that we know that you know. It's fascinating. That interview, I'm telling you, podcast that interview. We're going to play some more cuts later. It was awesome. KFAN.com.
Great job by Bump.
Yep, indeed. Bumper to bumper on demand. When we return, Ben Goessling, Star Tribune, StarTribune.com, joins us from Twin Cities Orthopedics Performance Center. This is a Northern Fire Tuesday at FM 100.3 KFAN.
Our iHeartRadio Music Festival,
presented by Capital One,
is coming back to Las Vegas.
September 18th and 19th at T-Mobile Arena.
Stream it live.
Ben Goessling, what's a good-looking guy like you doing in a place like this? Holy cow!
It's good to be back here,
and it's great to be back here. And by the way, you have headphones on now, so Nordo didn't get a chance to behold the spectacle I saw walking in. your ears are burned. So I know you're using sunscreen when you're out there.
Yep.
Okay, your face is it's gotten a little burned or a little red.
Yeah.
Bro, your ears are on fire.
Yeah,
your ears are super red. Do they hurt?
That happens a lot, and some of it is that's not just sun. Because my mom is listening to this. Aren't you putting on sunscreen? Yes, Mom, I put on sunscreen yesterday.
No, Mom, he has no sunscreen on his ears.
I was out running this morning, and I probably still a little warm this morning. From this morning, I was did a fairly big workout just this morning. So
Ben Goessling, Star Tribune, StarTribune.com, Access Vikings, the podcast, and we also have the newsletter and much more. So learn about it at Ben Goessling via X. Covers the Minnesota Vikings and has done so for coming up here in a decade and a half.
Yeah.
Access Vikings. Is like everything full throttle training camp? What's out there people need to know?
Yeah, new episode this morning. We talked a lot of quarterbacks yesterday, believe it or not. And we talked kind of about the most interesting things we've heard from training camp. Everything from Emily was discussing a couple of funny anecdotes that she got from a couple of interviews in training camp, and Andrew was just remarking on how there's been all of this talk about Harrison Smith. People can't stop talking about, is Harry coming back? What's he doing?
About it.
Yeah, it's been like every press conference, people are asking about it too.
Yeah.
And I'm working on a story about player hydration. So smart urinal cakes and what they use to help players feel whether they're hydrated or not. Yes, they have
urinal cakes.
They have technology so that you can get immediate feedback on whether you are hydrated enough
through your urine.
Yes,
crazy.
That's something beep at you.
Well, wait a second. This is subterfuge to get into some. God, what are we? I mean, come on. It's like they're going to look at the urine for the hydration. Oh, by the way, we found this.
No, it's that's for the hydration, and so you don't need that to be able to tell. You should be able to tell just by looking at it. But it's been interesting because we obviously talked about the 25th anniversary of Corey Stringer's death on Saturday. So I've just been interested in learning more about how some of these things work and just how players stay fueled and hydrated, the advances in sports science. And this is my track coach nerd part of it coming in. But I had a couple of really interesting conversations with Andrew Van Ginkel about what this was like in Miami.
Yeah. What about Tyler Williams?
I haven't talked to him yet, but I've talked to a couple players about it. Andrew Van Ginkel said some of those practices in Miami, he said he'd lose 10 pounds in a practice. So it's like, it is significant.
I don't know if this is a story or not. I found it to be incredibly fascinating. It probably was month. It was during the break between minicamp and now. Tyler and his wife Katie and some other people came out to Canterbury, and they were there for the end of the card. They were at Boardwalk next door. Then they came over, watched a race, stuff like that. So then I'm like, they're there so infrequently. Hey, let's go back to the barns and I'll show you the horses. One that I own with the banker Tim Seekley, named Moral Dilemma. So it was so fascinating hearing Tyler Williams, the head of the sports performance program, the trainer, talking to our horse trainer, Patrick Fields, about the human athlete and the equine athlete. And the biggest difference here, because they actually did things, I can't remember what laser, something with horses. It's been done for years. And football started to implement something like that within the last 10 years.
Like laser timing?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
It's where they can get in, they can really, man, I don't want to incorrectly explain it, but it was fascinating.
I'm intrigued.
But they came down to the conclusion, this was awesome, where like a horse trainer, the horse obviously can't talk.
Right.
But the player can.
Yes.
So now you're going to have one of two things with players. Either, bruh, you're cleared to play. This still hurts and that hurts and I can't play. Or they want to play so badly, they're not cleared. No, I feel great. Put me out there.
Yeah.
Where with the horse, they can't tell you that.
Yeah.
So
which means they can't lie to you.
The veterinarian, the trainers and everything, they got to get into the tendons, the knees, the ankles, and everything to figure out whether the horse is capable of running, what type of medicine does he need, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So here those two go back and forth, a horse trainer, an equine athlete trainer, and a high-end trainer with a Super Bowl ring of man.
Yeah.
It was terrific.
That'd be super fascinating to listen to.
Yeah, it was about 7 minutes, man. It was cool.
Yeah, because there is that thing of, like, yes, you can ask a human athlete how they're feeling, but it only works if they are honest with you and if their perception of what they're feeling matches up with what their body is doing. I mean, talking with athletes that I coach, there's this thing all the time where they might be feeling something and they might be worried about an injury that they had or something that they felt. Is this serious? Especially with young athletes, and there's not really a bank to go off of.
Yes.
Like, I haven't felt this before. I don't know how serious it is. My pain threshold isn't well developed enough to have a great sense of what this is. Or I may be underestimating it because I don't have the history of it and I want to be out there so bad.
Right.
Like, there's always that back and forth. And I think even with professional athletes, you deal with that too. So the communication with the athlete helps, but not always, probably.
Right.
So
Right.
there's complications to it.
Well, Tyler's official title is, and love the guy and love his family. He's the Vice President of Player Health and Performance. So he's the certified athletic trainer, but that's the official title, and I always forget the title. And I don't know, you would know this, man, because you work with athletes, human athletes.
Yeah.
So, like, if a runner, a football player, whomever, has a balky ankle, I just wonder if you can put your hand on it and it's hot. Because, like with horses, when it comes to the foot, the ankle, the tendons, the knee, it gets hot.
Yeah.
That's a major indicator that something's going on inside there, because this ankle's normal, and this one's a little hot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I am not a doctor, nor do I play one on the radio, so to be able to say that exactly, it would be interesting to know, because, I mean, horses obviously are on 4 legs and we're on 2, which is a major difference between us and any other athlete in the world.
Tiny ankles carrying 1,200 pounds.
Yes.
I mean, Nardo and I have tiny ankles with a combined 1,200 pounds, but we're not athletes.
Correct.
But the Achilles tendon and how the ankle is set up in a human being is going to be different. But it is. I mean, even with a human being, when you're running, you are doing a single leg squat of 1.5 times your body weight every time you take a step.
Jeez.
So, I mean, even the fact that we weigh less is not that much of a trade-off, because you have 2 legs to support all of that. And the fact that we are upright means that we are less efficient running than a horse would be. We can do it for longer, and we can get into the sports science of how we cool ourselves, and it doesn't involve. We have a different oxygen system and a different cooling system because we sweat, with other animals don't. But I'm getting a little deep into the sports science here. But that part of all of this is, why the science of how we carry ourselves and staying healthy is tricky, even though we have less weight than a horse does.
Okay, Ben's going to chew on this during a pause and come back, give us an answer. Awesome having you today. I was at practice yesterday. I had some dog and pony show around me, so I was missing stuff. And I saw you right next to it. So Ben saw markedly more practice than I did yesterday. But I saw enough of Caleb Banks, Ty Ingram Dawkins, and Ty Felton to offer some opinions. But I was told yesterday the defensive line and receivers in one-on-ones are supposed to win almost every time early in the pads equation. Let's figure out what Ben saw yesterday when we return to 9 to noon from Twin Cities Orthopedics Performance Center on KFAN.
From the 1-800-ASK-GARY Traffic Center.
This report is sponsored by